Josh here with Project Car Media, and race season is officially over. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how the GT350 did and which mods I'm going to do this winter to make it even better on the track next year. What is up, guys? It is raining outside, the leaves are falling, and that means that it is officially the end of race season. For me, the race season was really only 3 track days and 1 autocross, but I had such a fun time. That car is such a different monster than anything else I've driven on the track. And just for your reference, I've tracked a Kia Stinger GT1. I've tracked a bone stock E36. I've tracked a E90 M3. I've tracked an E82 128i, and I've tracked a turbo E36. They all have different characteristics, and they were all really fun too, but the GT350 it's insane how it does. It has its own characteristics, unlike any of the other cars that I've driven on track. And I really got a taste of all the different types of tracks. You know, PIR, Portland International Raceway, is kind of a shorter track, and it's all flat. There's no elevation changes. So that was a good one to get started on. It was close to home, and it was really easy to get used to the car on that track, and it was a lot of fun. When I went to the Ridge, that one has like one of the longest front straights ever. And if you watch that video, I get up to 135 on that front straight before I really have to start, winding down and braking for that first corner. So that brought its own challenges as well. And again, I just had an absolute blast. The car did great. Then I took the car to Oregon Raceway Park. And again, that track has elevation changes like the Ridge, but they're very different. There's like a corkscrew where the road kind of corkscrews like this. There's a lot of uphill, there's a pretty long straightaway. So the ORP really has, I think, just a little bit more character than the Ridge, but overall they were all very, very fun. So I'd say pros for the GT350 definitely are that there's no performance degradation over a 20-minute session. It's not the fastest car in the world, but man, pulling that engine up to 8,200 RPMs is just probably one of the best sounding things in the world. The suspension, once you put it in track mode, it just totally turns the car into a different car. If it had stickier tires, it would have probably ran sub 2 minute at ORP. So the suspension, the engine, the transmission, everything about that car driving wise on the track just totally impresses me. There really isn't that many cons. My only con would be, and this is specifically for me because I'm a larger person, is the seat. If I had a better seat, even if I had the stock Recaros that have a little bit more bolstering, I think that I would have had a more enjoyable experience on the track. I gotta say, with that seat, the one that I have, the comfort seats, I mean, it kind of takes away a little bit of the fun from the track day. You know, I really want to push the car to its limits, but I can't because I'm too busy holding myself straight through corners. You know, having a better seat is much needed in that car. The other con that I would probably put down, and this is no fault of the GT350, but the stock tires, the Cup 2s that usually come on the car, have been replaced a long time ago in favor of Michelin Pilot Super Sports. And those are really good tires, but they're not really a track tire. They did pretty good on track, I gotta say. There was a couple times at Oregon Raceway Park where I had to like correct my steering because the back end wanted to come out going around the corner. You know, if I could have those original Cup 2s that come on the car, that would have made the track day much more enjoyable as well. As far as that goes, I mean, I don't really have any other cons. Like, I mean, the engine runs good, the brakes are awesome. I don't really have any complaints per se. You know, really just the seat and tires are basically what I think need to be improved. So all in all, I had an amazing time at my 3 track days and my one autocross this year. Hopefully, hoping to make more track days next year. I compiled a list of 4 things that I want to do over the winter in preparation for next year's track days. And I want to show you exactly what those are. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about these mods coming up for the winter time. Do you think they're worth it? Do you think they're not? So let's dig into it. Okay, so the first mod that I have on my list is a little bit of a cheaper one, and it is aftermarket lug nuts. Now I know it sounds kind of stupid, but the GT350 they ask you to torque the stock lug nuts to 150 pound-feet of torque, which is so much torque on a lug nut, and I don't feel comfortable torquing it that high, especially because I have like a Harbor Freight torque wrench and it's not that accurate. The other thing is that on this car and a lot of other Ford cars, they have a two-piece lug nut, and what basically it's like a steel lug nut with like an aluminum cap for I think for just for looks. And the problem is eventually that aluminum cap can swell and you can't get a socket on it to get it off. Like I've seen some pretty bad horror stories about that. So my first mod that I want to do is aftermarket lug nuts. Now these are made by a company called Optimum Performance, and I've read a lot of good things about them. Um, they are an open-ended black lug nut, low friction coating. Now, I wanted the open-ended lug nut because I just think they look a little bit cooler. You can see the stud through the end. And I don't know, I just think they look a little bit more racy that way. Like, I don't know if racy is a word, but I think they look a little more cool. So I'm gonna get these. It's about $90 for a set of 20. And if you can look down here, it says that you can actually drop your torque down to 120 foot-pounds instead of 150 when you're using these lug nuts. So that makes me a little bit more comfortable knowing that, well, one, they're a one-piece lug nut, and two, I only have to go to 120 pound-feet of torque when torquing them. That makes me feel pretty good. So now the second thing I'm doing, which is actually 4 things, is the seat. Now I've said this over and over and over in my GT350 videos this year, and that's that the car needs a seat really bad. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try out the Sparco Evo XL QRT. Now, it is kind of expensive. I've never bought a seat this expensive before, but the GT350 is a very nice car, and I thought, well, it deserves something nice. It deserves a nice seat. Now, the reason I like this seat over some other ones is that it can fit up to a 38 waist, which I'm typically a 40 waist, but if I can get into a 38 waist, that would be snug. Like, I'm all for that. The other thing that I really like about this seat, it features the most back angle rake of all Sparco seats. And for me, that's a huge deal because before, when I've had Corbeau seats or any other race seats in my cars, I've always had to actually stack washers under the front studs to kind of like lean the seat back a little bit so that way I can get some more headroom that way. So I think being 38 waist and having that back rake, I think will really help with my headroom and it'll keep me nice and snug. So I'm going to go with the Evo XL QRT. I'm going to grab the seat base with it, a slider, and then you have to have these side mounts. The side mounts basically mount up to the side of the seat, and then those mount to the seat base or possibly the track. I'm not really sure how that goes exactly. I think you need all 4 of these things to get the seat to work. I have to worry about the height of the track and the height of the seat base, but I'm going to order all 4 of these things and we're just going to put them together in my garage and throw the seat in with everything and then sit in it with a helmet and we'll just see if I if I touch the ceiling with my helmet, or if I sit low enough or whatever. Three is a different steering wheel. Now, I didn't really complain too much about the steering wheel, but one thing that you guys may or may not know about me is that I'm a little bit of a clean freak, and I really don't like the suede on my steering wheel, get it all matted down, especially during track days where like I'm really gripping hard and I could be possibly matting that down even more. I used to own a 2010 CTS-V, and it had the suede steering wheel with the suede shifter. And by the time I owned it, it was all like smooth and shiny and gross. So I really want to preserve the suede on the steering wheel as much as I can. So what I'm going to be doing is ordering a steering wheel from SoCal Garage Works. And what they'll do is basically grab a Mustang steering wheel or a GT350 steering wheel, and you can go down and customize it however you want. I mean, you can put carbon fiber on it, you can put perforated leather, smooth leather, different colors, all that stuff. Now, for me personally, I'm not into the whole flashy carbon fiber stuff. I really all I want is a Napa leather steering wheel. That's really all I want. So the entire thing is going to be wrapped in leather, and it's going to be wrapped in like a Napa style smooth leather. The stitching I'm going to do with red just to add a little touch because the car is red and I think it'll look really good. The center line stripe I'm going to keep black. But that's basically what it's going to look like. It's instead of being suede, it's going to be black Napa leather all the way around. That way it won't get dirty as easy. I'll still have plenty of grip on that wheel. I think it'll look really good. So that is going to be on my winter list as well. And last but not least is thinking about possibly doing a GT350R front sway bar, and I think it would really help with the cornering. But I've read some people who have regular 350s, they'll do like the front and rear sway bar from the R, and then they'll even do like GT350R springs as well, just to stiffen things up a little bit. Maybe the front sway bar might be a good idea. I don't know yet. The last thing that I want to talk about that I don't really have displayed here, which is replace the brake fluid with some nice Motul 650 brake fluid. I also want to replace the brake pads with something a little bit better, possibly some EBC yellow stuffs. My tires are fine the way they are, but I would really like to get something a little bit more sticky for the track and maybe even a different wheel, a wheel and tire combo that's lighter. I wish I had the money to buy GT350R carbon fiber wheels, but I don't. So if any of you guys know of a good wheel tire combo for the GT350, let me know down in the comments. Would you go really sticky? Would you stick to something that's still streetable? What kind of wheels would you do? You know, bigger, smaller, whatever. Let me know. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had planned for the car over the winter. For the most part here in the Northwest, it rains 99% of the time during the winter. So the car will get a startup every once in a while, and that's pretty much it. So it's perfect time to do mods. If I have to take my steering wheel off for a while, I can. So I'm really excited to just make it better by adding these mods over the winter time and just to see what happens on the track next year. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little race season wrap up on the GT350 and what mods we'll be doing over the winter. So if you like watching these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. I really appreciate everybody who does like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.